Hi, welcome back to our program. And today we're going to talk about time management. How many of us, we just feel crazy about the things, we don't got enough time to do things, we're too busy, we're too crazy, we're, oh my God, what happened to us? But in reality is, all of us have time to do things. All of us have time as long as we plan things right. And I want to talk to you is, I have this list here to do that is really important, the priorities. What is the priorities for a young person? The homework, the applications from colleges, but many of the time your priorities is being with friends or playing games, priorities that you believe that are extremely important for you. Now, what is the no priority? In this case is visit grandparents and clean the room. But if you notice in this list, there is something that is kind of like weird. Being with friends and play games, is that really a priority? Or that can be a non-priority? And if we ask ourselves, how much time do we spend in these two specifically, you will realize that many times we spend a lot of time watching games, playing games. So when we understand what are the priorities and the things that we need to do, everything will be easy to accomplish. Now, normally what happens with us, we love to procrastinate. What I mean by this, we have a homework by Friday, and this homework gave it to us on Thursday last week, and we just dwell on it and dwell on it and dwell on it until actually become Thursday. And on Thursday we're freaking out like, oh my God, I need to finish this. Oh, stress. But the problem with that is, if you really think about it, you have a whole week to have the things done. You just didn't do it. And what is interesting is the whole week you were just like, oh my God, I have to do this homework, but I don't know, I'm lazy. And the thing is, don't wait for any inspiration. Do it now. Do it now. When you procrastinate, your stress levels go high, and when you procrastinate, your productivity levels go down. That means that you have to do the things at the last minute, you do it really quick, and things like that. So my recommendation is do not procrastinate. Now, if you ask me, how can I manage my time? I want to give you some tips that I think are really important. Number one, create what is called a time audit. What I mean by time audit is to create a piece of paper and to write things down of everything that you do. And if you analyze that piece of paper, you will realize that you spend a lot of time doing things that maybe are not worth it. So that's the first thing, to create a time audit to see what's going on with you. Second thing is to stay focused. Stay focused in what you need to do. So for example, if your priority is to finish high school, just stay focused finishing high school, doing your homework and doing those things like that. And start moving those things that sometimes we believe are priority to the non-priority list. Now, you may think that the non-priority lists are not important things. To be honest, it is important. Even though for you, visiting your grandparents right now may not be as a priority, just think about the value that you have when you visit them. What it means to go back and to connect with your family. And I think this is really important because many of us in the non-priority, we believe that this is something that we don't need to do it. We can do it another time. But in reality, if you want to be productive, all these things needs to be done. The question is how we do these type of things. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, the next things that I want to ask you is to manage your time better is prioritize wisely, which is exactly what we were talking over here. What are the things that I need to do first? What are the things that I need to do second? What are the things that needs to have done before this time? Now, the next thing is actually really interesting is learn to say no. If your friend is calling you to stay up all night long talking, you just say, hey, I'm sorry, I need to sleep. Or if someone is asking you something that you cannot, just say no. The other thing is plan ahead. Make sure that before the week starts, you get a time yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do this week? And to create a list like this. Now, what is interesting is when you have a list like this, you can actually put the things when it's done. So this is done already. Homework is done. The application is done. Visiting the friends is done. Now, what is interesting is when you have this list, you will realize all the things that you do. But if you actually do an audit of this without the list, you probably will realize that you spend a lot of time playing or texting or doing those type of things that are meaningless. The next one, eliminate distractions. Sometimes we believe that multitasking is pretty good. Oh, I need to multitask. I need to make sure that while I'm reading, I'm listening to music, I'm actually paying attention to the text, and I am actually doing math in the side. The problem is when you are multitasking, you are not really giving enough time to everything. And what is the problem with that? is that you don't focus in something and you don't get things done. Has happened to me many times that I'm sitting in the computer doing writing something, and suddenly an email comes, and suddenly a phone rings, and things like that, and then distraction is over. I cannot finish my things. So, for example, when I want to finish something, I just sit down and I say, this is something that I need to do, and I work at that. The next thing is take care of yourself. The other day, I have a friend of mine who came and talked to me, and he was telling me, you know what, I don't know, things are not working out, I don't do things, and I feel so like whatever. And I asked him, how long do you sleep? How much do you really sleep? And he was telling me, in reality, I'm sleeping 3-4 hours per night. And this is something that you may think is weird, but I actually have seen young people that, thanks to the technology and their phones in their rooms, they sleep way less than before. And the problem of not sleeping is that later on you are not just ready to work. You are lazy, you feel bad the whole day. So my recommendations is follow everything that I'm telling you, and you will see how your life changes. And more than anything, how you accomplish things in a faster pace. Thank you so much for watching. The challenge for this week, I will say, can you do the time audit that I was talking at the beginning? Can you see exactly where you're spending your time with, and what are the corrections that you're going to do to have a better usage of your time? Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon, and thank you for watching us.